Hi guys, welcome back. Hey, we're going to spend another week on Complete the Square because it's pretty tricky and I want to make sure you guys get it. So our goal for this week will be the same as last week. I can solve a quadratic equation by completing the square. I'll remind you of the steps, and remember, if you just follow the steps one at a time and don't skip anything, it's pretty tricky to mess up. Most of you guys last week, if you made mistakes, it's because you were kind of skipping a step, okay? So step one is make sure you have the x squared and the x on one side and the constant on the other side. Once that's done, you find half of whatever that number is. Take that and square it. Add that number to both sides. This is the most common mistake that was skipped, is you guys kind of tried to jump from 3 to 5. If you're really good at this, you can do that, but I don't think you guys are there yet. So don't skip that step, okay? And actually write it out. Then you factor. The other most common mistake was the factor. Remember, when you factor, it's always going to be x plus whatever this number was squared. Then you do square roots. You'll get most likely two little equations, and then you solve each of those, okay? So I'm going to do 4 more examples for you this week, and then I'll turn you loose on your assignment. You'll have some practice problems, and then you'll have a little comprehension check quiz again, okay? Only 2 problems, not too bad. Okay, let's look at this one. We got x squared plus 14x equals 15. Step 1 is make sure it looks like this. It does, so we're good there. Step 2 is find half of b. So half of 14 is 7, and I would write these out on the side just like I'm doing. And then you square that, so 7 squared equals 49. That means I'm going to add 49 to each side. So plus 49 plus 49. Okay, x squared. Remember, you cannot add x's and numbers together, so I'm just going to write this out as plus 14x plus 49. 15 plus 49 is 64. Okay? Got those done? Step 5 is factor. Remember, it's always going to look like this, and this number is whatever half of b was. Since half of b was 7, it's going to be plus 7. Okay? Notice we didn't do anything to the right side here. Okay, so for this one step, the right side stays the same. That part's a little confusing. Then we're going to do square roots. Okay, remember, the square root and this 2 cancel each other out. So all we have left is whatever's in the parentheses. The square root of 64 is 8. And the other square root of 64 is negative 8. And then we solve. So to get x by itself, I'm going to do minus 7. 8 minus 7 is 1. Over here, negative 8 minus 7 is negative 15. So those are our 2 answers for that one. Okay, so I just followed the steps exactly like they're written. Let's try another one. Okay, let's try this one. 2x squared plus 4x minus 40 equals 0. Okay, step 1 is make sure it looks like this. So we should have x squared and x on one side, other number on the other side. Well, we got the x squared and the x. This we need to move over to the other side. So I'm going to do plus 40. So I got 2x squared plus 4x equals 40. And then notice here, this is just x squared, right? So we need to somehow get rid of that 2. How do you get rid of times 2? Excellent, good job. Divide by 2. So I'm going to divide everything by 2. I get x squared. See, 4x divided by 2 is 2x. 40 divided by 2 is 20. Okay, now I did step 1 finally. So you might get some this week where you're going to have to do some stuff to them before you can get to step 1. There was 1 or 2 like that on the last week's. Okay, find half of b. Half of 2 is 1. Square that number. 1 squared. 1 times 1 is 1. And so we're going to add 1 to each side. I get x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 21. Okay, factor the left side. So it's always going to be x plus whatever half of b was. Half of b was 1, so x plus 1. Then we're going to do the square root of each side. So I get x plus 1. Anybody know what the square root of 21 is? Nobody? I know it's between 4 and 5, but let's see. So remember, if you got a calculator, square root is second and that button. 21, I get 4.6 about. Okay, so 4.6, and then the other one will be negative 4.6. You might remember, if not, these little squiggly lines means equals about 4.6, because if you looked at that on the calculator, it was like 4.8 or 4.581 something something. So I just abbreviated it. Okay, last step is solve. 4.6 minus 1 is 3.6. And then, oops. And then over here I get equals about negative 5.6. Okay, some math teachers, especially as you get into Algebra 2 and pre-calculus and stuff, they're really picky about the equals about. I don't worry about it that much in Algebra 1. Okay, so the first one we had two nice integer answers, right? What was it, 1 and negative 15. This one we get two decimal answers, but that's okay. Decimals are numbers too. Okay, so you might get two decimal answers. Let's try a couple more. It is supposed to be, I'm recording this on Friday afternoon. It's very hot in my house because the weather is beautiful. It's supposed to be 80 Saturday and Sunday, which for you guys will be like in the past, but for me is in the future. It's kind of weird, but the weather's getting good. That's my main point. Alright, number 3, x squared plus 4x equals negative 20. Okay, step 1. X squared and x on one side, number on the other side. Good there. Step 2, find half of b. So it's half of 4 is 2. Square that. So 2 squared is 4. So we're going to add 4 to each side. So I get x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals negative 16. Factor it. Remember, it's always going to be x plus whatever half of b was, so x plus 2. Square root each side. So I get x plus 2. Anybody know what the square root of negative 16 is? It's not negative 4, because if you did negative 4 times negative 4, you'd get positive 16. Let's see what happens if I type it in the calculator. Let's see. Square root, I don't know if you can see that very well, of negative 16, it says there's a domain error. I don't know if that's clear or not. Okay, the reason why is because we do not know how to do square roots of negative numbers yet. You'll learn it in Algebra 2. So anytime you get to this point, if you take the square root of a negative number, there are no real solutions. Okay, so it is possible for you to solve one of these and do everything correctly and have no solutions, okay? So watch that. If you get the square root of a negative number, the answer is no real solutions. Last one. Number 4. X squared minus 18x plus 81 equals 0. Okay, step 1, get the x squared and the x on one side, the number on the other side. I got x squared and x. I need to get rid of that 81, so I'm going to do minus 81 from each side. See, 0 minus 81 is negative 81. Now we're good. Find half of b, so half of negative 18 is negative 9. And then we're going to take that number and square it. Remember, when you square a number, it's always positive. Negative 9 times negative 9 is positive 81. So I'm going to add 81 to each side. Over here, I get that. And then negative 81 plus 81 is 0. Okay, we're going to factor this side. Remember, it always looks like that. And this number is always whatever half of b was. Half of b is -9, so that's a -9. Square root each side. What's the square root of 0? Yeah, 0, right? Is there such a thing as -0? No, not really. So I only have 1 to solve on this one. So my only answer is x equals 9, okay? So it is possible to get only one solution, okay? So we had a couple of them today. We had one, the first one had 2 nice integer answers. The second one had decimal answers. The third one had no answers, or no real answers anyway. And then this last one only had 1, okay? So there's a lot of possibilities. Your homework this week, it's exact same technique as last week, so if you did well last week, you should be fine this week, okay? The problems are a little bit trickier. You're probably going to have to manipulate them a little bit before they get to this point, so you might have a little more work to do before you get here. And then you might get some negative square roots, you might get some with the square root of 0. So do your best on them. Let me know if you need help. Remember, if you want to do like a Google Meet or something, email me and we'll set up a time, okay? Because I want to see you guys. If I can figure out how to use the Chromebook, because I apparently broke the Chromebook or something, so. Oops. Anyway, miss you guys. The weather is amazing. Hopefully you're getting out and enjoying it. And do your best. Email me pictures when you're done. Or no, that's not right. Don't email me. When you're done, there will be a quiz to do on Google. So that's it, I think. Did I miss anything? No. All right. See you guys later. Bye-bye.